So here's what I was talking about when I was talking about creep, and I'm talking about, when I say the title of the stream today, creep, is about government creep, and this very, very interesting thread talking about the so-called Great Reset that you keep hearing about and what that's about. And in fact, who's to my Canadian friends in the chat, your prime minister even said the words, the Great Reset. And I think he made a mistake when he let that slip out of his mouth out loud. But anyway, so this sinister Great Reset stuff suggests we really might be approaching the end of history this time, not with the worldwide acceptance of classical liberalism, but with its decisive rejection in favor of soft and limited, so-called, authoritarianism. The new consensus spreading among Western political elites is that some issues must be taken off the table, placed beyond the reach of voters, settled, so to speak, and thus enforced by power that cannot be subordinated to democracy. Is this ringing a bell? In other words, the list of things free people don't get to vote against or refuse to accept grows longer. The size and power of centralized government swells to a scale undreamed of by the founders of a constitutional republic. Very little of it can be voted out of office. This is all supposedly justified in the name of protecting what remains of democracy. Remember, he's ruining he's a threat to democracy. And sanding the rough edges off of capitalism. The elites tell themselves they aren't really authoritarians. Oh, we're not authoritarians. We just are trying to protect the people, right? They're just helping true liberty flourish by limiting it and nourishing it. The people cannot be allowed to make choices that would interfere with the government-provided rights of others. In other words, the socialized goods and services everyone is entitled to. People must be made free from want, from insult, even from the need of work. Whatever remains of a free society after those authoritarian boundaries are drawn will become the new playground sandbox of liberty, smaller but safer and more comfortable. All that is not steel will be velvet. All that is not demanded will be provided. The elite will find just the right amount of authoritarian control to protect the people. You'll still be allowed to own some capital provided you use it in the right way. You can be ambitious, but not greedy. You can speak sort of freely, but only about approved topics. Wow, it sounds like YouTube. This is now the great illusion of the 20th century, brought into focus by the coronavirus pandemic, which will be employed to kill classic liberalism by supposedly proving that the most important challenges can only be tackled with authoritarian control. The delusion will be that authoritarianism can be tamed and harnessed to protect free societies. Authoritarianism will become the sleek, scientific, industrial, and moral engine that pulls free people into the new century and beyond. The political class will tell you this is a modest and necessary imposition on liberty. They're just putting a few dangerous things where your adorable childlike hands can't reach them. They're just requiring you to accept a few more points of consensus. The list of commands you cannot refuse will just get a little longer, as will the list of questions you are not allowed to ask, the words you are not allowed to use, the things you cannot buy or sell, the alternatives you are not permitted to seek. Very smart people of unimpeachable moral authority and unquestionable wisdom will draw some heavy lines. You will be permitted to color within them as you wish, using the acceptable colors provided to you. You won't be allowed to be dangerous or unpredictable anymore. In every aspect, it's the end of classic liberalism, the end of universal freedoms and inalienable rights, of absolute limits on political control. Constitutional limits on what you can vote for will be replaced by lists of what you aren't allowed to vote against. You may elect some of the deciders, but you won't be making the big decisions, and you will not be allowed to reject the consensus. Climate change, anybody? When capitalism is dominated by politics, risk is replaced by consensus and reward by entitlement. It's safer and smaller. And I just thought that was a fantastic thread. It's the government creep, though, and I've been saying this. I really believe this, and I don't know where I read it. This is an original thought of mine, but it's sunk in so well. All these coronavirus restrictions that they're throwing at us now because we have this deadly pandemic, right? It seems like a dress rehearsal, doesn't it? It seems like a dress rehearsal for what they're going to do when it comes to climate change, right? Because they're going to, if the right people get in power and then they decide that they're going to make it so nobody else can get in power, as in adding states, splitting up states, adding Supreme Court justices so that they can be forever in power, and then they get to tell you what the government provided rights are. You have the rights to do this, but you don't have the right to be against what we say, as in obey. That is when the American experiment dies. And I think it's very important that we do not let the American experiment die. I really, truly believe that we are the hope, because you see it in other places, man, where they're telling you what you can and cannot say. You're not allowed to hurt someone's feelings by having a different opinion. You're not allowed to, if the government tells you you must stay in your home, you can be arrested for leaving your home. Gotta tell you, it's quite frightening. Almost makes me want to move to Georgia and vote. I gotta tell you, it's quite scary. Anyway, moving on. Good morning, John Arnott.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.